Greetings. If you are joining me on YouTube, welcome to my channel. If you're listening to me on Spotify, welcome to the Nicole Ambrosia podcast. I'm Nicole Ambrosia, and I'm the founder of the Dakini Academy. Okay, so excited. My mission is to bring structure to devotion for the feminine mystic. In other words, the Dakini Academy is a finishing school for the feminine mystic, and I am so excited about this. I've been sitting on this and marinating on this for quite some time, and it's coming into fruition. So what does this mean? This means that I help guide women into mindfulness and activation into every aspect of their life. So in every aspect of your life, right? So our appearance, our finances, how we communicate, our home, our career, our partnerships, and even our sexuality. So stoked about that. So when we create balance and harmony within ourselves, we begin to see that same reflection in our outer world. So life becomes a mirror of our alignment, and it already is. Life is already a mirror of our conscious or unconscious alignment and or misalignment, right? So I believe also that all women carry an innate desire, God-given desire to live in devotion. And for some, religion provides that structure, and it can be so deeply comforting. But oftentimes women are misled, and men are misled by groups or organizations that have ulterior motives for their devotion. So instead of empowering them, these structures redirect their energy not towards, but away from their truth. So the temple path is presented to be different, right? It is different. Its intention is to give that power back to you, to help you reclaim devotion, not as something outsourced to an external authority, but as a sacred frequency you embody, live, and radiate from within, right? So in today's episode, we're calling it Reclaiming Devotion as Feminine Power to Raise the Collective Consciousness. So once again, the Dakini Academy is a finishing school for the feminine mystic. It is a place where women refine over their evolution over time, their lifestyles, so that every aspect of their life can become an act of devotion. Because when we devote ourselves to our practice, our spirituality, our beauty, our home, and the love, most importantly, the love of life itself, then everything else aligns. So the purpose of devotion is not to lose yourself, not to a person, not to a relationship, not to an organization, not even to an external goal. The purpose of devotion is always to return to yourself. So knowing a higher power is to get you closer to yourself and your alignment and not away from it, right? So this isn't like in a selfish way, but in the most sacred way. So just stick with me for this one, because when you honor who you came here to be as God or the divine, whatever we want to call it, creation created you, your devotion to that naturally pours out into the world as service, as influence, and as love. And it's experienced as that. It's experienced as love. And you can feel the resonance of your actions. Everyone can. So I want to remind everyone that you are a divinely created, unique, beautiful human being. You're not here to be a carbon copy of anyone else. In fact, you are here to blossom as the unique flower that you are. And my role, thank you very much, is to help you align with, activate, and amplify this beauty, this divine blueprint into the field so you can exist fully and liberatedly and shine into the world as your actual, beautiful, most amazing, authentic version of you. So let's get into what is a temple. So when you hear the word temple, what comes to mind? Let's just sit with this. So maybe we see some Buddhas, a church, a cathedral, a Sistine Chapel, maybe a sacred mountain or some other sacred place, right? And then more important than the image, what do you feel? What is the visceral sensation that arises in your body when you imagine walking into sacred space? Okay, so then this is the remembrance that a temple is both inner and outer. It is the sacred environment we cultivate within ourselves and the high frequency field we build around us, not just going to a mosque, a church, a temple. We can still do that, but I want to remind everyone that we can create and cultivate that within and around ourselves also. Through temple life, we use the power of feminine energy to create our field and positively influence the fields around us. So in yogic traditions, it said that feminine energy is 16 times more influential in the field than masculine energy in a space. So that means that when a woman cultivates her energy, she doesn't just transform her own life, she shifts the consciousness of everyone around her. And whether that is true or not true, it's about taking responsibility and knowing and remembering how powerful you truly are. And this isn't about forcing, right? It's not about guilting or shaming the outside world or anyone outside of us. Because here's what I see happening now. People, men and women, are seems to be doing their darndest to guilt, shame, blame the outside world into changing. So a lot of people are doing this. I can see it on the internet. So we're going to stop doing that because it is completely 100% disempowering. And not only that, it speaks destruction over their own lives and the lives of others and the world at large. So they're speaking destruction. They're speaking destruction over life, right? So that's not fun. But and it's also the wrongest, most backwards thing I've ever seen. If in fact it is our true intention to create a more beautiful world that our hearts know is possible. So that's a great book, by the way, by Charles Eisenstein. Highly recommend it. So if our work is about raising frequency, then destruction and blame are actually the opposite direction. So you cannot call in a higher life while energetically dismantling the fields, your own field and everyone else's field and the fields around you that are wanting to support you. You can create a supportive field. That's what I'm trying to say. So here's a principle of the temple path. So one of the guiding principles of the temple path is this. We stop externalizing responsibility. I know that one can be hard because when you externalize responsibility, when you place the burden of your healing, your happiness, and your freedom in someone else's hands, you give away your power. You give away your sovereignty. You're giving away parts and aspects of yourself that are meant to remain whole. The temple path calls you back to your center, and it asks you to remember that you are the origin point of your field. So we're being called to this sacred remembrance, literally putting back together to reclaim your power by changing the field from within and then tend to the immediate field around you, which is your living environment and the space that you exist in. So when you raise your own frequency, you don't just shift your life, right? You shift the lives of everyone around you by taking responsibility. And this is not selfish. This in a bad way. So this is sacred responsibility. Okay, so what feminine power actually is feminine power begins with a radical, maybe not so radical, recognition. But it's a recognition that our thoughts, our words, and our actions actually do matter. They literally materialize, not because we need external approval, not because we are performing or manipulating, but because every word, every prayer, and every thought is a cell of creation. When we root ourselves in the knowing of who we are and why we came to this planet, when we remember our divine blueprint and activate the parts of us aligned with that truth, then something awakens, right? The authentic, empowered sorcerer goddess who lives in every woman. Yay. So from that place, we no longer chase approval. We are grounded in our worth. Our power becomes self-sustaining, right? And then the work then becomes practical and healing. And this is the exciting part. The work is the fun, beautiful, and exciting part. So we gently, very gently see where we've been misled. And this is the part, I'm going to pause my little thing here. So this is the part where we can run into some things, and we often do. And this is the healing part, right? So when we start to realize where we've been wrongly, where we're having programs come up, or we've been misled, or we've feel so outside of ourselves, there is a time, there is a moment, and there is a place that we will feel not good when we recognize that, oh dang, I've been living this entire life out of alignment and out of truth, and I've been misguided and misled. Then you're going to want to blame, and the practice and the process is to definitely not do that. Okay. So then, because this programming taught us what? To self-sacrifice, where we gave our power away. So we're calling back our power, and then we change those programs. So, right. So we replace them with practices and structures that then honor our path. Because remember this, there's no one single template for everyone. So there's no one diet, no one workout, no one spiritual formula that fits every single soul. Okay. So if you tried something and it made you feel worse, like veganism that I did some years ago, that is a sign that program is not for you. Okay. So my work is to help you discover and create the practices uniquely tailored for you. Okay, the ones that deliver you to your highest health, deepest joy, clearest alignment, and most consistent satisfaction, right? So that is how we transcend limiting beliefs, old karmic contracts, and patterns that do not serve our highest path. So part of the practice and process is learning about ourselves, learning to love ourselves, and coming from that place of self-love, self-acceptance, and kind of undoing the old programming, right? And not blaming anybody anymore. So in closing, thank you for sticking with me. This is the path of the feminine mystic. This is the work of reclaiming devotion as feminine power, right? This is the temple life. We are here to build for ourselves and to build together. And I'm so excited. So if you like this episode, please like, subscribe, and share it with a friend. It helps me so much more than you know. All of my links are in the description and in the show notes. And also, I've created a temple workbook that you can download for $33. This workbook is a thorough guide that will take you step by step to start creating your inner and outer temple. So exciting. So it will help you clear the energetic imprints in your home, activate your own frequency, and build daily rituals of devotion. So it's designed to be both practical and fun and cute and mystical, but also extremely powerful. So this is something you can as well return to again and again and again as your temple life and your life deepens and you evolve. Welcome to the Dakini Academy. See you soon. Bye.